I was not Sir Erlen's blood, but I have followed his example. As your sons will follow yours.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're taking a look at some of the most fascinating pieces of trivia from HBO's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. If you haven't yet watched the show, this is your spoiler warning.
I suppose we could go anywhere in the Seven Kingdoms, though I've never been to What?
There are 9 kingdoms, sir.
Lionel Stag-themed. The Laughing Storm of Storm's End is a character with loads of extra scenes not included in the novella. This makes him substantially more memorable, especially with Daniel Ings doing such a terrific job at playing him.
Been a wonderful tournament. Shame it's all over.
Now, a first small detail is his impressive stag-themed cane, which he carries with him in his final scene. If you don't already know, the Baratheon sigil is a crowned stag, reflecting his house's most cherished animal.
We fought for you, your prince. Fought for you against men sworn to protect him. He risked nothing.
It's only a minor detail, but it's one of many examples of the props and costume department doing a wonderful job bringing the world to life.
We could be a force, you and I. You'll consider it?
Good. Caravan departs after the roast.
Star symbolism.
Stars fallen, and the sunset heralds night.
It's common knowledge that shooting stars are believed to bring good luck. This has been reflected a few times in the show through the shooting star Egg Seas and the one painted upon Duncan's shield. In this episode, the stars start to take on a more pessimistic meaning. It opens with a shot of the night sky fading into a stone cell ceiling. Now, the stars are more symbolic of freedom, with the transition showing how Duncan's future is becoming increasingly hopeless. Well, to him at least. We viewers know countless adventures are waiting for Sir Dunk.
What will they do with me, Egg?
My uncle wants to see you after you're done eating.
Hard salt beef symbolism. If you hadn't caught on already, series creator George R.R. Martin loves using food as a literary device. This is reflected in the TV shows, particularly with Sir Duncan and his fondness for hard salt beef.
You'll have clothes on your back and food in your belly. The clothes might be rough spun and food, salt beef and salt fish, but you won't go hungry.
It's so important to his character that the second episode was named after it. The cured meat is a valued source for hedge knights, plus it represents the harsh lifestyle they lead.
There's salt beef after you're done.
I'd sooner eat the horse, sir.
You'll eat my fist if you don't do as you're told.
It's also symbolic of what Sir Arlan taught Dunk, as was shown in episode 2. It opens with a flashback of Dunk and his master eating together, but ends with the young knight eating alone, while talking about being Arlan's successor.
We will show them what his hand has wrought.
Prophetic play. Prior shows set in Westeros are teeming with foreshadowing, and A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is no exception. This episode features a play telling the tale of Florian the Fool. He's a mythologized hero claimed to have lived thousands of years before Aegon's conquest.
You are Florian the Fool!
I am, my lady. As great a fool as ever lived.
The legend says he was a lowborn knight of the Riverlands, and he was also famously a fool with terrible armor. It's hard not to see the similarities between Florian and Dunk. Fascinatingly, the tale of Florian falling in love with a woman while bathing is where Maidenpool gets its name.
Sweet lady, all men are fools, and all men are knights. Where women are concerned.
Dumping on a familiar theme. Burying his late master, Dunk sums himself up with this early line.
I don't know the right words.
Dunk doesn't know who he is without his master. Holding Sir Arlan's longsword though, Dunk is inspired to become a knight. Cue the opening notes of Ramin Djawadi's iconic theme, setting us up for another epic series. Or cut to Dunk taking a dump. Some might see this as crude humor, which it is, yet it also establishes that this isn't Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, which used the same theme music. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms doesn't even have a lavish intro reflecting Dunk's current status. His name ignites little fanfare now, but the path he carves could be one of legend, or at least a worthy footnote.
I'm a knight, I'll have you know.
Number 10, May Death Sustain Life. The trial begins with a religious speech dedicated to some of the 7 gods, the Andal gods, who are popular in the southern kingdoms. It ends with the iconic line,
May death sustain life.
one of the core themes of the universe. It's first heard from Mirri Maz Duur in the first season of Game of Thrones, then repeated all over.
It's not a matter of gold, this is blood magic. Only death pays for life.
Not only is it literal, with many resurrections requiring death to work, but it also reflects on the series' central anti-war messages. While few small folk will be aware of the feasibility of resurrection in Westeros, it's pretty interesting that lines such as this are commonly known.
He will. But not today.
It could be indicative of Westeros' ancient history, but we won't truly know until the books conclude. In location name drops. While tonally quite different than its predecessors, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is still set in the same universe. Even the more casual Thrones fans will pick up on Dunk's passing references to King's Landing or Lannisport.
We could go to a city. King's Landing? Lannisport?
Lesser-known locales also get a shout-out. Dunk mentions that the only time he didn't deserve one of Sir Arlan's slaps was in Maidenpool, a town found in the Riverlands.
You never beat me when I didn't deserve it. Except that time in Maidenpool.
Although unseen in Game of Thrones, Arya Stark once claimed she was from Maidenpool, a lie that Tywin Lannister saw right through.
Where are you from?
Maidenpool, my lord.
And who are the lords of Maidenpool? Remind me.
House Mutton.
Dunk travels to Ashford, where a tourney is taking place. Ashford is another location we haven't seen portrayed on screen, but it stands out as the only place Robert Baratheon lost a significant battle during his rebellion. Valarr Targaryen.
My prince. Your father, he was a great man.
We get a fantastically written exchange between Duncan and Baelor's oldest son, Valarr Targaryen, shortly after the funeral's conclusion. The dialogue in this scene is almost identical to the novellas. We've only seen Valarr a couple of times before, with him fighting in Episode 2's tourney, but despite his small role, he became unforgettable.
Hey, who's that?
Prince Valarr. Baelor's son. Second in line to the throne.
He's the favourite, I'd wager.
He's one of Baelor's 2 children, the other being Maireys, who isn't featured in this series. Valarr could become important going forward as the first son of the king's first son has a stronger claim than his uncles like Maekar. You may remember this being an important plot point in young Griff's story in A Dance with Dragons, so it could become relevant in the future, but we won't spoil.
He had in him to be a great king. The greatest since Aegon the Dragon. Why would the gods take him and leave you?
Flashbacks setting. A sizable portion of this episode is centered around Duncan's childhood in Flea Bottom.
What if this is the best there is?
That would be quite sad.
We can safely assume this is set during 196 AC, which is 13 years before the tourney at Ashford. This will be during the closing stages of the First Blackfyre Rebellion, a major Targaryen rebellion still fresh in the minds of Westeros. The war concluded with the victory of Daeron II Targaryen, the current king of Westeros, and Aegon's grandfather. This political turmoil is probably the main reason Duncan wants to escape Flea Bottom, alongside it simply being impoverished.
Our silver don't spend.
Prices double. You're not the only ones who mean to get the f*** out of here.
It was also the first of many Blackfyre rebellions, so it's partially setting up future events. The boy will not spill. Baelor Targaryen is the man responsible for telling Duncan what fate befalls him. In the same scene, he utters this subtle line after asking Egg to grab the Hedge Knight a drink.
Also Duncan a cup, Egg on. Try not to spill it on him.
The boy won't spill, Your Grace. He's a good boy. Good squire.
As we know from the first 3 episodes, Egg goes to great lengths to hide his true identity. We can interpret this line as Duncan and Baelor discussing how well he keeps his secrets. If Aegon truly wants to become a squire, he's going to have to keep his identity hidden for his own safety. So this line is cleverly referencing Egg's sealed lips and Duncan's faith in his trusty squire.
Aegon, leave us now.
As you will, Your Grace.
Puppet show controversy. The episode concludes with them finally revealing Egg's identity. This happens after Prince Aerion gets enraged about a play where a dragon dies. Dragons have been extinct for decades at this point, but to a Targaryen, they're family. So, while it's unclear why the dragon is slain, the fact that they're depicting such an event is treason. At least to Aerion, but he's not known for his sound judgments. He's one of the few Targaryens canonically confirmed to be mad before Game of Thrones. This episode gives us the first major clues about his mental state, alongside how obsessed he is with becoming a dragon.
You've loosened one of my teeth. So we'll start by breaking out all of yours.
Let's hope that obsession doesn't lead to trouble for him later down the line.
Aerion Brightflame, they called him. He thought drinking wildfire would turn him into a dragon. He was wrong.
Tug of War. Towards the episode's conclusion, Sir Lionel Baratheon invites Dunk and Egg to aid him in a tug of war.
What is this piss froth? I need muscle.
You would be forgiven if you assumed they weren't acting, because most of them weren't. In an interview, Dexter Sol Ansel, actor for Egg, stated that it became a real battle.
I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Egg's jumping on the rope was an unscripted decision, plus author George R.R. Martin was on set that day, and he adored seeing it. After winning, Dunk throws Egg high in the air. Ansel didn't fall gracefully. His eye ended up accidentally smashing into Peter Claffey's nose. While the shot was used, the injury was cut. It's just one of many things revealing how much passion this pair has for their characters. The Green Apple. It's pretty tough to miss the bright green apple painted on Sir Raymond's shield.
Stefan took my tent. Said I betrayed the family by abandoning him.
It's a lot easier to miss the significance of his coat of arms. It's not just a shiny new logo, he's created an entirely new breakaway house, leaving his brother Stefan behind.
It's better to be an unripe green apple than a wormy red one.
Raymond's descendants go on to turn up in the main series, pledging their allegiance to Renly in A Clash of Kings, then later Stannis Baratheon, whom they believe to be the one true king, a sentiment many fans agree with. Jon Fossoway is potentially the most important, who is pledged to Mace Tyrell and is also married to his sister.
I think I brought one of my cousin's ribs.
He only appears in the appendices though, but it's a fascinating connection between these two stories. The Blackfyre Rebellion. One reason we know it took place at the end of the Blackfyre Rebellion is that we see the Battle of Redgrass Field's aftermath.
Do you know any words?
What's that mean?
You see, when these bloody highborn spoil, you gotta say words for them.
This was the war's final battle, which took place somewhere near King's Landing, and even included Sir Arlan explaining why he's in Flea Bottom.
Get up.
The Targaryen side was led by Baelor, Maekar, and fascinatingly, Brynden Rivers, also known as Bloodraven. If you've forgotten Game of Thrones, he was the three-eyed raven who taught Bran magic powers.
I've been many things. Now, I am what you see.
We also learn what attitudes General Smallfolk had towards the Blackfyres. This is done when a fence refuses to buy their leather from Duncan, revealing they were mainly seen as rebels to locals, not true-born Targaryen claimants.
Daemon's rebellion is over. Take your Blackfyre leather elsewhere.
Trial of 7.
What is a trial of 7?
Any Game of Thrones fan can instantly tell you what a trial by combat is. Tyrion ends up asking for 2 in the main series in an effort to win his innocence.
You shouldn't drink before a fight.
You learned this during your years in the fighting pits. I always drink before a fight.
In this episode, we're introduced to a new flavor of the custom, the Trial of 7.
What the is a trial of 7?
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a trial by combat, but this time it's 7 versus 7. It's heavily tied to the faith of the Seven, as they believe having 7 combatants on each side makes the gods more inclined to deliver justice. It's been practiced for thousands of years, but we've never seen it in the main series.
Are you cowering behind some 6,000-year-old Andal foolery because you're afraid to face this hedge knight alone?
Some fans do theorize Cersei will request a trial by 7 in the 6th book though. Sir Robyn Rhysling.
You're Sir Robyn Rhysling. You're the maddest knight in the 7 kingdoms.
We're introduced to another grizzled knight in this episode, Sir Robyn Rhysling. We're given a brief flashback showing how he lost his eye half a decade ago. Their house sigil is depicted as an iron-framed oaken door on a grey stone wall. They're one of the lesser-known houses, so much so that their sigil and motto aren't technically canon. They're so niche, such information hasn't been revealed in the main series, so this is the most Rhysling lore we've ever seen. Interestingly, their name may be a reference to the Rhysling Award, a literary achievement given to sci-fi and fantasy poems. Alternatively, it could be referencing the Rhysling variety of grapes, so they could be tied to wine production.
I serve Sir Duncan the Tall. He is large enough for the both of us.
We've not heard of him.
You will.
Lord Stokeworth. When Dunk is trying to persuade the Targaryens to let him fight in the tourney, they mention a battle between his old master and Lord Stokeworth.
He overthrew Lord Stokeworth in the melee at King's Landing, and years before he unhorsed the Grey Lion himself.
He told me of that many a time.
If you have a major interest in the Dance with Dragons, you may remember a Lord Stokeworth pledged their allegiance to Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen. Sir Arlan fought one of Stokeworth's descendants, subtly linking the series to House of the Dragon. You may also remember Lolis Stokeworth from Game of Thrones, who was betrothed to Bronn briefly during Season 5. The arrangement fell through, but if it hadn't, Sir Arlan would have bested Bronn's grandfather-in-law.
I make it a practice to learn all I can of my foes.
A drunken dream. Arriving at an inn for the night, Dunk encounters a heavy drinker passed out at his table. When the stranger comes to, he recounts having a dream about Dunk, warning him to keep his distance.
I dreamed of you. Stay the f*** away from me.
It's worth noting that he pays the innkeeper with a coin featuring a 3-headed dragon. This is the sigil of House Targaryen, with the 3 heads representing siblings Aegon the Conqueror, Rhaenys, and Visenya. The sigil not only points to the drunk's true identity, but also the nature of his dream. While there might not be any living dragons during this period, that doesn't mean dragon dreams can't still hint at things to come.
Never you mind that one, sir. I'll see about your food.
Did Arlan knight Dunk?
My lord's tourney is a contest for knights. You a knight?
Oi!
Looking to join the tourney, Dunk claims that Sir Arlan knighted him before he died. This is met with skepticism, which isn't unwarranted. The show opens with Dunk digging Arlan's grave without revealing how his master passed. We do get a flashback to Dunk's past, although when he asks Arlan if he's to become a knight, his master doesn't respond.
Am I to be a knight one day, sir? As you are?
This might lead some to believe that Dunk is lying. This is further evidenced through Dunk's demeanor following his master's death. He's overcome with uncertainty, which likely wouldn't be the case for a squire who's had his dream of knighthood fulfilled. That said, the source material never gave a definitive answer.
Sir Arlan served his lord father in Dorne a few years past. Sir Manfred will remember us.
By scent alone, no doubt.
King Daeron. Baelor had a relatively small funeral for the king's heir. You might have missed it, but a few important Targaryens are standing around his pyre.
Prince of Dragonstone, heir apparent to the Iron Throne.
The most important is easily King Daeron the Good, who seems to have travelled all the way from King's Landing to attend his son's funeral. For those unaware, he's considered one of Westeros' greatest rulers. This is mainly because he brought Dorne under Targaryen rule, something they'd struggled with for about 2 centuries. Secondly, he was the victor of the historically significant First Blackfyre Rebellion. Aside from this one major rebellion, his reign was relatively peaceful, making him an admired ruler.
Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and protector of the realm.
The Black Dragon. Another reason we can place this flashback is the mention of the Black Dragon's death. This was a common nickname for Daemon Blackfyre, leader of the Blackfyre Rebellion and legitimized son of King Aegon the Unworthy. The title comes from his coat of arms, a black 3-headed dragon. It's mentioned that he perished in the battle, but not how.
Just don't know why we're in such a rush to leave anymore. The war's over. The Black Dragon's dead.
In the fight, he was taken down by Bloodraven's personal group of archers, the Raven's Teeth. They also killed both of Daemon's sons and heirs, but they didn't kill the whole Blackfyre line. It's commonly theorized that one major character from the main series is secretly a Blackfyre. So if Book 6 ever releases, this may be major foreshadowing for it. The Andals. The Andals were easily one of the most influential cultures in shaping Westeros. While their customs are seen all over the series, their origins are barely explained in the TV shows. The 3 largest ethnic groups in Westeros are the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men. The Andals migrated to Westeros around 6,000 years ago, bringing with them the Faith of the Seven.
The dominant religion is the Faith of the Seven, first brought to its shores by the Andals some 6,000 years ago.
They came from Essos, but it's unclear why. According to the Faith, they were promised kingdoms overseas, but the Maesters believe the Valyrians pushed them out.
It came across the narrow sea with the Andals and their 7 gods.
Well, if it was the Andals.
Regardless of why they came, the result was them conquering and settling most of southern Westeros, then establishing many of the houses still around today. The Hammer and the Anvil. Egg's identity is finally revealed at the episode's conclusion, with him turning out to be a Targaryen all along. This has been heavily alluded to in all 3 episodes. One example comes from The Hammer and the Anvil, a song sung by Egg while whittling away in a tree.
Daemon was the bastard, so they kicked his bastard. Grass is green in summer, green grass I adore. But grass is red all over, when you kill a rebel, horses die in battle.
If you're not obsessed with Westeros lore, you may have missed the fact that it's referencing the Battle of the Redgrass Field. This was the defining battle of the First Blackfyre Rebellion, a brutal civil war 13 years prior.
And the Blackfyre Rebellion ended with the extinction of the entire line.
Fascinatingly, the song has been criticized in-universe as being biased against Blackfyres, downplaying Daemon Blackfyre and Bloodraven's involvement. So, it's only a song a Targaryen supporter would sing.
Blackfyre's not a trueborn, he came from the wrong country, was in peril. The anvil was a rock, the hammer smashed the bastard with his giant veiny host of Dornish spearmen.
It's time. Notable house cameos. A favourite pastime of hardcore fans is hunting for interesting sigils and characters from Westerosi houses. The Baratheons are major players, but we've also had a sneak peek into the Tyrells of the period.
House Tyrell. Sir Arlan often spoke of his time in your service as his very finest.
Dunk begins chatting with Leo Tyrell, also known as Leo Longthorn. In the original books, Longthorn is considered one of the greatest Tyrell knights in history, so celebrated that Loras Tyrell controversially claims he's a better jouster than him.
I know him not, man.
We also get a peek of a few more sigils at the beginning of the joust. This includes the Hightowers, leaders of the Greens in House of the Dragon. Summerhall mention. We also get yet another Summerhall name drop in this episode. It's easily the most important location in Westeros for both Duncan and Egg, despite only the latter visiting it so far.
There is a place for you at Summerhall. You'll swear your sword to me, and Aegon can squire for you.
It was recently built during Egg's lifetime, but by Game of Thrones, it's been famously destroyed for quite some time. Fans have spent decades trying to figure out what happened to the duo that decimated the Targaryen holiday home, but nothing is clear. This might be explained in future seasons, or even in the final 2 books of the main series, but only time will tell. Flea Bottom is extra grim. We've seen Flea Bottom loads before, with it getting the most focus during one drunken night out in House of the Dragon. This episode glamorized the area heavily though, with Daemon and Rhaenyra having a blast partying in the slum.
Do you wish to know your death, child?
Here, we finally get to see the harsh realities of that area. It's far more cramped and unsanitary than in previous depictions, plus quite a few locals have Irish accents.
What's in the bag? Rats. Oh. Rats. Let's see him then.
The series is famously terrible at accent consistency, with Davos having a Newcastle accent, despite being from the same place as Duncan.
You told everyone Stannis was the one. You had him believing it. All of them fooled.
This could be a proper attempt at establishing an accent for the residents of Flea Bottom though. House Fossoway. So far, we've been introduced to 2 members of House Fossoway.
All knights vow to protect the innocent. Even edge knights, I assume. I am for you.
Thank you, sir.
Their northern accents might make you assume they're from colder lands, but in actuality, they come from the Reach. Their coat of arms is a red apple on gold, with the phrase, "a taste of glory." Take note of this, as the apple's color will become important later.
I'm afraid you'll need 2 more. I fight with Prince Aerion and the accusers.
The Fossoways aren't regular nobles though, they're a house of landed knights. This means they're technically nobles, but not lords, and they don't have enough status to secure a marriage with a great house, unless they're extremely lucky.
You traded your honor for a lordship. Cousin, I know great men who have traded their honor for far less. It was a bargain well struck.
House Hardyng. Another lesser-known house included was Hardyng, represented by Humphrey with the red and white shield. He's first spotted jousting someone from House Beesbury in an honorable fight. When he's pitted against Aerion, things go terribly. Humphrey is chosen intentionally to be his opponent, as Hardyng are some of the most honorable knights in Westeros.
Come out, little knight. It's time you face the dragon.
They're a family of landed knights, so they're technically nobles, but not necessarily lords. The house also comes from the Vale of Arryn, a region obsessed with honor among knights. All this combined makes Aerion fighting dirty feel even more cruel, as his opponent is unlikely to have ever done the same thing back.
A mishap may befall me, and I'll need you to keep your wits if it does.
That was no mishap.
Fish munching. New timers to the series will likely be perplexed by the knight biting into a raw fish at the tourney's outset. His name, Lord Medgar Tully, a member of the Great House who rules the Riverlands, therefore making him an ancestor of Catelyn Stark. Their sigil is a trout, a fish commonly found in rivers. So that's the main reason he's tucking into a raw fish, but he also hopes it'll intimidate his opponents. House Tully has a few customs, but this is our first time seeing one eat a raw fish, so it's probably just Medgar's thing.
The part with the fish was disgusting.
Maybe in the original series, people would have been a bit more scared of Catelyn if she'd eaten a raw fish and screamed at them. Dunk breaks the wheel. Hitting a child is never warranted, Joffrey notwithstanding. Regardless, Dunk believes that almost all the slaps he took from his master were deserved. Dunk is far from the only squire who endures abuse, as seen through how Stefan Fossoway treats his cousin, Raymond. It'd be easy for Dunk to repeat the cycle of violence when he encounters young Egg. Dunk even tells Egg multiple times that he could use a clout in the ear.
All the other knights are in their pavilions by now, staring up at the silk instead of sky.
A clout in the ear.
He threatens to beat Egg, but instead decides to bring him along. Dunk also promises not to beat Egg, except when it's justified.
I promise not to beat you. Except when you deserve it.
While Dunk's words echo his master, his actions don't. For all Arlan taught him, how to discipline is one lesson that thankfully didn't rub off. Houses. Speaking of Stefan and Raymond, the apple is the sigil of House Fossoway. This is not only reflected through the symbol on Stefan's armor, but also in the multiple apple puns that the cousins make.
I may not be right, but my cousin's rotten to the core. Knock the seeds out of him.
Quiet.
This isn't the only familiar sigil that Dunk comes across. When Dunk first arrives in Ashford, he's quickly drawn to a flag with purple lightning and white stars. This sigil belongs to House Dondarrion, which Dunk recognizes due to the arrow that Arlan took while hunting the Vulture King. Dunk thus hopes that Sir Manfred Dondarrion will vouch for him, but Beric's ancestor is anything but grateful.
Please, sir, I will not be allowed to challenge unless a knight or a lord will vouch for me.
And what is that to me?
Eagle-eyed viewers also might have noticed the flags depicting 3 beehives, which is the sigil for House Beesbury. Princes Baelor and Maekar. It's established that the Targaryens still rule Westeros, even if their hold is weaker than in House of the Dragon. In this episode, we're introduced to some of the most important princes in the family.
Perhaps I should go back, sir. Check on the camp.
This includes Baelor and Maekar Targaryen. Both are the sons of Daeron II, also called Daeron the Good, the current king. Baelor is his oldest son, making him the current heir and also the hand of the king.
Our Lord of Ashford humbly welcomes the great and honourable Baelor Targaryen, firstborn son of King Daeron the Good, Prince of Dragonstone, hand of the king, and heir to the Iron Throne.
Maekar, on the other hand, is the 4th son and has 4 sons himself, which will become relevant later. His 3rd son is someone we all know and love, Maester Aemon of Castle Black, one of the few Game of Thrones characters alive during this era. The tragedy at Summerhall. The books frequently mention a famous fire that happened about 40 years before Game of Thrones. It's one of the most notable mysteries in Westeros' history.
Mine was some tarly boy at the Battle of Summerhall. My horse took an arrow, so I was on foot, slogging through the mud.
It's unclear why the fire began, but they believe it was started by Aegon trying to revive dragons. The incident was prophesied to Egg by a random fortune teller.
You shall be king, and die in hot fire, and worms shall feed upon your ashes. And all who know you shall rejoice in your dying.
As you may expect, the rest of what she says is all true according to the main series. The tragic fire was motivated by a prophecy told to Aegon, but a different one from the novels for simplicity. Egg was also given a dragon egg when he was younger, which he kept at Summerhall, similarly foreshadowing the tragedy to come. Daeron's backstory. Aegon is the youngest son of Maekar, with Daeron being his eldest brother.
Stay the away from me. Yeah.
My lord?
He's named after his grandfather, Daeron the Good, but unfortunately doesn't live up to his ancestors' reputation.
An impressive talent for an unimpressive man. Another one of life's little ironies.
Maekar sent Daeron and Egg to Ashford together, hoping Daeron would participate in the tourney, with his brother serving as his squire. Obviously, this isn't going to happen, since Daeron and Egg ran away on the journey. It was a pretty confusing decision, in fairness, since the drunk Targaryen detests fighting. The silver lining is him being on the accuser's team definitely increases Dunk's chances of winning.
I'll do my best to look gallant in the first charge, but after that, perhaps you could Strike me a nice blow to the side of the helm. Make it ring.
Altered backstory. In the original novellas, we get some insight into Duncan's childhood, but not as much as we see here. This is because Duncan is far younger in the novella, so he barely remembers his time in Flea Bottom. In the books, we know he had 3 friends, Ferret, Rafe, and Pudding.
That was an accident.
Aye, and we all figured that'd be the end to it. Only for Cedric to come back a year later and near burned on half a Flea Bottom trying to kill Pudding.
They're called Little Monsters by the Hedge Knights, with all 4 of them getting up to constant mischief. In the show, Rafe is a young girl and a love interest.
I just want to be with you.
'Cause you love me?
Yeah.
Rafe is also never mentioned to have died, plus Duncan claims he met Sir Arlan in entirely different conditions.
Leave that boy be!
Originally he was spotted by Sir Arlan chasing a pig, then became his squire pretty much on the spot. Pennytree's origins. Sir Arlan hails from Pennytree, a sizable village north of Riverrun. In the novella, he never talks about it, leading Duncan to have no idea where it is. In the show, we get this interesting exchange between master and squire, with Arlan explaining his village's titular tree.
When a lord calls his banners and sends us boys off to war, it's custom for each to nail a penny to the oak in the square, and if we return, to take it down.
It's a completely new scene, but it might be hinting for a future visit there for Duncan Egg.
Oh, it's a great old tree. And yet, it's often hard to find a spare bit to nail a new penny.
This hasn't happened yet in the 3 novellas, so it may be something George has planned for sequels. He could have even mentioned this to the showrunners, explaining extra focus for the settlements. Until now, the most we've seen of it was in one Jaime chapter in A Dance with Dragons.
And that's why they call it the Penny Tree.
Duncan's knighthood. It's unclear whether this conversation between Duncan and the late Sir Arlan was a dream or a memory. It becomes extra noteworthy when Duncan asks his master why he was never knighted.
Why did you never knight me? Did you think I'd leave you?
For decades, fans have speculated over this issue. The topic hasn't been fully fleshed out in the novellas yet, but the show has begun to focus on it earlier. This makes it a lot more ambiguous than in the source material.
He always meant for me to be a knight one day. As he was.
Am I to be a knight one day, sir? As you are?
Many viewed this as a confirmation that he was never knighted, but not everyone is eager to agree.
So I ask you again, whether witnesses do you dubbing besides a f***ing songbird?
Mainly because it's such a massive reveal, plus whether it was a dream or a memory leaves it somewhat open-ended. The role of motherhood.
Mother loved you best, huh? Shame. No man fights so fierce as one neglected by his mother.
As the episode name suggests, motherhood is a core theme. In the faith of the Seven, the mother is a deity who represents the protection of the weak.
What if my mother comes back for me? I'm not stupid. I know she's dead.
The episode shows that anyone can take that role, regardless of gender or social position. This is reflected by Arlan saving Duncan. Then, when the latter holds both Rafe and Baelor in his arms while they pass away. This desire to protect others is one of Dunk's most admirable traits, which he will end up sharing with Aegon, making the pair one of Westeros' most moral characters. Targaryen prophetic dreams.
I dreamed of you.
You said that.
The thing Daeron is probably most notable for, other than shaving his younger brother's head, is definitely his dragon dreams. Only Targaryens and Blackfyres are known to experience this phenomenon.
My dreams are not like yours. Mine come true.
First was Daenys the Dreamer, who foresaw the doom of Valyria. Some legends claim Aegon the Conqueror had a dream predicting its invasion. The only confirmed dreamers who are major characters in the books are Daeron, Maester Aemon, and Daenerys Targaryen. so the gift Daeron has is exceedingly rare, but tragically, it's believed to have caused the deaths of quite a few Targaryens.
A great beast, with wings so large they could cover this meadow. It had fallen on top of you, but you were alive, and the dragon was dead.
It could be part of the reason he's so in love with booze. Alice Three Fingers.
Alice was a special lass, born bereft of thumb. Lost the digits and in front, now feeling awfully clump.
Both Manfred Dondarrion and Lionel Baratheon seem beyond excited to be singing this bawdy track. You may think it's referencing some niche historical events, but it's an entirely brand new song. At first you could guess it's referring to the potentially magical Alice Rivers from House of the Dragon, but she's got all her fingers. It's symbolic of Egg's belief that anyone can better the world regardless of birthright.
Perhaps it is a story of honour.
Honour?
A misfortune girl making the best of her natural gifts.
It's also a homage to the tons of other bawdy songs littered throughout the series.
Oh, Alice with 3 fingers, a copper in a glass, and 2 fingers less than most she'll shut them up.
The 3 fingers can also be interpreted as a reference to Three-Finger Hob, Castle Black's head chef, who was frequently featured in the novels Aerion the Monstrous.
Boy, stop gaping. Sleep on my horse.
I'm not a stable boy, my lord.
Another Targaryen introduced is Aerion Brightflame, as he'd call himself. His opponents would instead call him Aerion the Monstrous. Aerion inherited Targaryen good looks, but unfortunately also likely got the infamous Targaryen madness.
I have the honour to be a knight.
Oh. Oh. Knighthood has fallen on sad days.
Much like Viserys in Game of Thrones, he's convinced he's a dragon in a human body. He's also Maekar's second son and Aemon's older brother. Aerion's mother was Diana Dane, connecting the Targaryens to the legendary knight Sir Arthur Dane. He was famously one of Rhaegar Targaryen's best friends, who was revealed to have been there for the birth of Jon Snow.
Well, if you can't manage horses, then fetch me some wine and a pretty wench.
Lionel Baratheon. House Baratheon is also well represented here. Not only are the house's trademark antlers used in all of their decorating, but Lionel Baratheon himself appears.
You wish to curry my favor, son. Yet you come with an empty hand.
It's mentioned that Lionel is known as the Laughing Storm. This isn't just because Lionel's the life of the party, but he delights in laughing at his opponents. Dunk assumed that Lionel would be bigger, which could be a reference to one of his descendants.
Our ancestors gathered in that big field outside to blood each other with sticks.
While the family tree is a bit murky, Lionel is suspected to be Robert Baratheon's great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather. Watching Lionel, we can see that Robert inherited his boisterous spirit and love of feasting.
So what should I do?
I don't know. I'm really quite drunk.
He isn't someone you want on your bad side. If you're on his good side though, Lionel might let you wear his crown. Aerion's journey east. There's a strong chance we won't be seeing Aerion Brightflame again following this episode. His father is sending him to Essos, but hasn't specified where. Assuming it stays true to the novellas, he'll be heading off to Lys.
I'm sending Aerion to the east. A few years in the free cities may change him for the better.
This is one of the southernmost free cities, which doesn't appear in Game of Thrones, but does in the novels, with Quentin Martell's first chapter being set there. Young Griff also heads there shortly before heading to conquer Westeros. If this series covers another 10 years, we may see Aerion again in the Seven Kingdoms. We may even get some Lys scenes while he's there, such as his time serving the Second Sons, but he probably won't be relevant enough.
The dragon will never lose.
The Battle of Humphrey. It's mentioned that the only two who died were Beesbury and Hardyng, both Humphreys.
Has anyone died?
Beesbury and Hardyng. in the first charge.
In the original novella, these two Humphreys fought each other valiantly on the tourney's opening day. They ended up breaking 12 lances in total, which later became known as the Battle of Humphrey. It's not featured in the show, but Humphrey Harding's joust with Aerion is what claimed the life of his horse. These two Humphreys are brothers-in-law, explaining why they joined Dunk to get revenge on Aerion. Unfortunately, they both lose their lives, one slain by Sir Donald the Crabber in the novella, then the other dying of his wounds shortly after the trial. Becoming a knight.
Go on, Sir Duncan. Any knight can make a knight.
In medieval Europe, becoming a knight was a lengthy and challenging task, with a lord being required to knight someone. In Westeros, it's way simpler. Literally any knight can make someone else a knight.
Go. I shall give Squire Raymond his knighthood.
It's still more admirable to be knighted by a more prestigious individual though, and selling knighthoods is heavily frowned upon. It's never explained in the series, but knights interestingly came to Westeros when the Andals did. This was likely a major factor in their victory over Westeros. It also means that knights are way more common in the southern Andal-settled kingdoms as opposed to the north and the Iron Islands. Knights are still present there, however.
In the name of the Mother, I charge you to protect the young and innocent.
Sandwich invention. Humans have been using bread to eat food for thousands of years, but the idea of a sandwich is fairly new.
Bread and 2 of this little fish. And a mug of dark beer to wash it down.
Invented in the 1700s by an English earl. While New World plants and animals are featured in Westeros despite the medieval setting, people rarely eat present-day meals, even if all the ingredients are there. This is because it's more immersion-breaking for a knight to be eating a pizza than to snack on tomatoes. So this is the first depiction of a sandwich in Westeros, leading us to believe Dunk and Egg casually invented a new food item for breakfast. The Battle of the Redgrass Field. Duncan frequently mentions this battle to the Lords because his old master, Arlan, fought there.
They say they know not Sir Arlan of Pennytree, but he served them. I swear it.
For context, this was the deciding battle for the first Blackfyre rebellion, which happened 13 years before the series began.
Sir Arlan fought side by side with your brothers at the Redgrass.
This was a brutal civil war between the Targaryens and the Blackfyres, a pretender faction led by Daemon Blackfyre. The Redgrass Field's location isn't confirmed. It was probably near the capital, but it was named after the battle, which is said to have stained the field's grass. About 10,000 died, including Daemon Blackfyre and his oldest sons. Despite the loss, many Blackfyres survived and fled east. It's unlikely that Sir Arlan played a significant role in the fight, however, as confirmed by the Lord's reactions to Duncan.
Sir Arlan wasn't gifted with sword or lance, and he drank, and he whored, and he was a hard man to know.
Dragon puppets.
His ambition must keep a truth concealed. For if his humble shape is bared of foul and fiery demise.
A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms occurs decades between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. As such, the only dragons we'll be seeing in this show are of the puppet variety. Dunk encounters one such dragon, as Tansel, the puppeteer, recounts the Serwyn of the Mirror Shield legend. According to this tale, Serwyn managed to slay a dragon by using the reflection from his shield. While the legend of Serwyn may not be grounded in fact, it does mirror Dunk's own story. Like Serwyn, Dunk has set out alone, looking to make a name for himself.
A boy from nothing risks it all, ignoring looks askance.
Assuming that Dunk was lying about Arlan knighting him, he too must conceal his secrets, or else the future he's working towards will go up in flames. Robyn in a thorn tree. Before setting out on his journey, Dunk notices a robin in a tree. Dunk later says that this robin was the only witness to his dubbing, again implying that Arlan didn't actually make him a knight.
Witnesses to your dubbing?
Only a robin in a thorn tree.
Although this could be written off as a joke, the robin may represent something deeper. Robins are said to symbolize renewal, mirroring Dunk's pursuit of a fresh start. Despite his height, Dunk is a humble individual who feels small, not unlike a robin. Even if Dunk wasn't granted knighthood by his master, the robin's presence could be a sign that nature recognizes him as someone worthy of the sword he now carries. The Hedge Knight's story remains rooted in nature, ending this first chapter where it began, under a tree.
There's my pavilion.
That's a tree.
Yes, and it's all the pavilion a true knight needs.
The meaning of trees.
An elm tree. A big one, like the one by the river, with the brown trunk and the green branches.
Aye, an elm tree, that would serve.
Trees are massively important in the world of Westeros, not only in a literal sense, like the magical weirwood trees, but in a metaphorical sense too. The show begins with Duncan burying Sir Arlan, who hails from Pennytree. The settlement gets its name from a massive tree with hundreds of pennies nailed to it. We see Dunk and his former master relaxing under a tree when the episode begins. All this tree symbolism has a few meanings. It's a reference to Duncan literally being tall, but also standing firm and remaining pure despite his harsh environment.
That why you slouch? So you don't get punched.
I don't slouch.
Additionally, hedge knights get their name because they often sleep in nature, under hedges and trees, so it's symbolic of Dunk's freedom but low position.
What if it rains?
The tree will shelter me.
Trees leak.
So they do.
Dunk is Brienne's ancestor. Even if you memorized the entire script for Game of Thrones, you'd never be able to tell Brienne is related to Sir Duncan. Except for the fact they're both tall, there are few connections between them. One of the biggest hints comes from the novels, where Brienne adores Duncan so much that she has her shield painted with his arms. Turns out, author George R.R. Martin confirmed in 2016 that the pair are related. It's not clear how, and there's a chance we'll never truly know. Martin added that he's hoping to explain this in future books, but fans aren't optimistic about the final 2 novels being published. Oak and Iron.
Your rim was old. Cheap steel. Brittle and rusted. I've made you a new one. It's twice as thick.
In the original novella, this line from a nursery rhyme pops into Duncan's head. In the show, it's instead uttered by himself and a blacksmith, but the meaning is identical.
You remember the old shield rhyme? Oak and iron, guard me well, or else I'm dead and doomed to hell.
The only other character who thinks of a similar phrase is the Onion Knight, Davos Seaworth. In A Storm of Swords, the line, "Even demons can be killed by cold iron," pops into his head. A lot of fans believe iron is highly important in Westeros, but for reasons so ancient, the small folk only remember them in rhymes. The nobility, on the other hand, still build their castle doors out of oak and iron, which likely have the same origins. The importance of visors. Avoiding visors is crucial for Sir Duncan in the novella, and to a certain extent in the show too. Duncan's helmet importantly has no visor. According to Steely Pates, the blacksmith, many knights die after lifting them, so he should avoid having one.
Come on!
This makes for an iconic moment when Duncan finally beats Aerion, then takes off his helmet and is overwhelmed by his surroundings. The show does a great job at depicting this, with us also getting quite a few Duncan POV shots, helping us feel his fear. He does take his helmet off earlier than in the novella, which is a bit out of character, but it's probably because it would be less emotional if we couldn't see his face.
I withdraw my accusation.
9 kingdoms. You'd be forgiven for thinking there are 7 kingdoms in the 7 kingdoms.
There are 7 kingdoms of the realm, boy. Everyone knows that.
Then everyone is wrong.
As Egg hilariously points out, there are actually 9. Also 7 are lordships, and 1 is a principality, meaning there's only 1 kingdom technically. So why do we call it that?
Crownlands, Westlands, Stormlands, Riverlands, the Iron Islands, the North, the Reach, the Vale of Arryn, and Dawn.
It's because there were 7 before Aegon's conquest. The extra 2 are the Riverlands and the Crownlands.
Do you want to cloak near?
The former used to be unified with the Iron Islands, and the latter came from the Stormlands. Confusingly, Dawn was and still is a principality, plus the Targaryens ruled Dragonstone as lords. The Six Kingdoms, a principality and a lordship, is a more accurate name, but sounds far worse. Did Maekar give Egg permission? The season ends with Prince Maekar getting riled up about Egg running away.
Where the f*** is he?
This implies that Egg was lying to Duncan about being sent to serve him. This is a drastic change from the books, where it's not ambiguous at all.
My Lord Father says I am to serve you.
In the text, Maekar gives his son a signet ring with his seal on it, which is basically a get-out-of-jail-free card for the duo. Egg's father also orders him to keep his hair shaved at all times. This moment is taken out of the show, which will likely lead to additional conflicts further down the line. It's unclear why they made this change, so we'll just have to see how it develops before fully judging it.
Where are we going, sir?
Don't know.
Duncan is Sir Baelor's man.
Keep your mounts as long as you can. These men mean to see you dead. They will fight savagely.
As will we, my lord.
Our beloved Hedge Knight is the one cradling the Targaryen heir in his dying moments. Some of the last words ever spoken to him are by Duncan pledging himself to him. It's important because it's likely to convince the Targaryens not to blame him for his death. It's also a subtle bit of foreshadowing for Dunk's future. Not only is he pledging his loyalty to Baelor, but to the Targaryen dynasty as a whole.
Your Grace, I am your man.
It's also showing how much Duncan idolizes Baelor, viewing him as the epitome of a noble knight. This moment feels bittersweet when you realize the Targaryen's death motivates Duncan even more to become the most chivalrous knight possible.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hints to the Long Night. When it comes to the Long Night, and we're not talking about Sir Arlan, we can safely assume it'll go down in the books differently from the TV show. For those unaware, the Long Night was a period about 8,000 years ago when the world was taken by a harsh winter, which brought with it the Others. According to Melisandre, there'll be another Long Night, which will probably be Euron's doing. It's also known that the Others detest iron. Additionally, Winterfell's doors are made of oak and iron, and it's heavily implied that the city is essential to keeping the Others at bay. So, there's a strong chance this rhyme is foreshadowing events to come in the Winds of Winter. Aerion and Egg's backstory.
Don't touch him!
You stupid boy! Hold your tongue or they'll hurt you!
No, they won't. If they do, they'll answer to my father.
We now know Aerion is the older brother of Egg, and you can easily tell the two don't get along.
You impudent little wretch. What's happened to your hair?
I cut it off, brother. I didn't want to look like you.
The pair has years of backstory, which hasn't been explained in much depth. Egg detests how often Aerion lies, and he's also exceedingly cruel towards his younger brother. For instance, he once brutally threw his cat down a well.
Kill him! Kill him!
Despite his cutthroat tendencies, the king still adores him, as he's the only person Aerion is pleasant towards. The siblings are complete opposites of each other, with Aerion embodying all the worst traits a king could have, and Egg the best. Dunk's sigil. Episode 2 featured the iconic moments where Duncan creates his own sigil, a shooting star above an elm tree, with a glorious sunset in the background.
Yeah, the field should be the colour of sunset, because the old man always likes sunsets.
You may remember that episode 1 ended with the duo looking up at a shooting star at night, resting beneath a tree. The pair cobbled it together in a bit of a rush, but it's still loaded with meaning. The shooting star commemorates Dunk and Egg's first night together, while the tree references Sir Arlan, alongside Dunk's role as a hedge knight.
The shooting star above. Could you do that?
Shooting stars also bring good luck, foreshadowing the pair's forthcoming adventures and lifelong friendship.
It didn't feel well handled.
She is painting your shield.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Egg truly sees Dunk.
Yes, my lord.
Sir, I'm only a hedge knight.
Although Dunk stands out in more ways than one, he also blends in with others, seeming inconsequential. Even Lionel, who takes a liking to Dunk, doesn't see him as more than a drinking and dancing buddy. Egg is the only one who can instantly read Dunk. The precocious child sees that Dunk doesn't look or act like the other knights.
You don't look to be a knight.
What, all knights look the same, do they?
No, but they don't look like you either.
He might not be a good knight, but Egg recognizes that there's worth in Dunk's humble nature. Where Egg quickly detects the true value in Dunk, the Hedge Knight ironically fails to notice that his new squire is more than he seems. Again, we won't spoil who Egg is, but there's a reason why he didn't leap at the coin that Dunk gave him.
So I'll call you wish. I know you'll scoop it up as soon as I'm gone.
Which George R.R. Martin story would you like to see HBO tackle next? Let us know in those comments below.